So, as I'm sure you all know, recently Bethesda have rolled out quite a few updates, bringing with them paid mods. I've seen nothing but hate and bashing thrown their way. Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend that decision, because I, of course, don't want to pay for my mods. But as a seasoned modder myself, here's why I view this whole situation very differently. So, let's first take a look at how these mods actually get put onto Bethesda's website, so we can debunk all the myths surrounding these paid mods. So, reading directly off of their website, experience in modding is required, a portfolio for work, the latest version of Creation Kit, a Bethesda account linked to Xbox, multi-factor authentication, and obviously an internet connection. So, what does any of this actually mean? It means that people who want to sell creations will already need a portfolio, which hopefully will up the standard of the Creation Club. The latest version of Creation Kit will also be required, which means the creations will be held to the highest and newest standard, well, Bethesda's newest standard. Bethesda account connected to Xbox. This is because Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft, and all of this is being done through Microsoft's website. It does also mean that these creations will have to be compatible on Xbox, which I personally think is a good thing. So the next thing they lay out is that creations must be standalone, so they cannot have any dependencies on other mods, whether those are free or paid. Creations have to be completely brand new, so you cannot repurpose old mods or use someone else's. And creations cannot contain anything through generative AI. So the dependencies one is a bit hit and miss. On the one hand, this really limits creators, as there are lots of tools these days made by modders to help creating mods and make them a lot better. However, this does also mean that the mods will be much more accessible to all players and should be compatible with anything and everything else the player is using. Creations having to be all new, I think, is amazing. This means creators aren't allowed to just start selling their old mods through this program, and helps protect the current modding community. You can say whatever you want about Bethesda's new paid mods, but this rule is brilliant, and it shows they are not here to harm the modding community. Now, the last point of this section is very interesting. Creations are not allowed to include generative AI. This means that nothing that's been thought up by AI is allowed in these mods, which is obviously good and prevents lazy mods from being sold. However, this means creators are not allowed to use AI for voices either. For example, there's a mod that came out in the last few months called Herica, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This mod uses ChatGPT to make the follower respond to anything the player says through the mic. There are also plenty of mods out there that use AI even for normal voice lines, either because they can't afford voice actors, or because splicing the vanilla voice lines ends up sounding quite tacky. So this section clearly is quite hit and miss. There are bits in here that protect modders and the players. However, there are also parts of it that really limit creators. Now this next section is massive. First bullet point, content does not require a game patch to release. There is no restriction on including voiceover. Content has no requirement to be lore-friendly. They must follow any platform restrictions for content and storage, and they may not be localized in multiple languages. This first bullet point changes everything. Content not requiring a game patch is brilliant. Anyone who has modded Skyrim on PC before knows the pain of an update coming out and having to possibly wait months for SKSC and other mods to get updated to work. With this system, however, that won't be needed, meaning Bethesda is trying to lessen the amount of people who are having their mod lists broken by updates. The no restriction on including voiceover, it's pretty simple. It just means you're allowed custom dialogue for voice actors, etc. Content having no requirement to be lore-friendly is just a nice addition, as it gives these creators more freedom, which will at least make these more worth it to people, hopefully. Must follow platform restrictions, aka PlayStation probably won't be getting 90% of these because of the use of custom assets. Now for what I think is the biggest part of all of this. Creators will still be able to release free content alongside their paid mods. This means modders will still be able to release free mods onto Nexus and keep providing us with the amazing content that they always have. This is the biggest reason this system is different from last time. They're still actively saying and arguably encouraging free mods. Honestly, from all of this that they provide us on that website, it sounds like a pretty solid system. So, for people who don't already know, or people who just want to get a deeper understanding of the history of paid mods. I've touched on this a few times throughout this video, but now let's go a little deeper. The first time Bethesda tried this was all the way back in 2015. It was awful, as anyone who was in the community at the time will tell you. They only lasted on the Steam Workshop for 4 whole days before being taken down and eventually refunded. The issue was Bethesda was coming for the free and open modding community, the only people who've been keeping their game alive for years. They did this by not truly having a system laid out for it, and seemingly picking creators and mods at random. It wasn't thought out, and led to an incredible amount of hate from the community. Obviously, they then tried this again with Creation Club in 2017. With this though, they only had new mods and said they weren't going to be touching already existing free mods. In my opinion though, the Creation Club was a massive fail. I for one have never spent a penny on the Creation Club and never even bothered to check it other than when there was something for free. The most success the Creation Club ever saw was when the Anniversary Edition was released, and even then, that was only because people got all of the content at a discounted price compared to buying each creation individually. So, what is the overall takeaway here? Bethesda are definitely trying to milk Skyrim once again with these paid mods. However, they're also doing it in a way that doesn't directly attack the free and open modding community. It's probably the best solution we could have hoped for. Bethesda gets to keep making that sweet, sweet cash from Skyrim. Modders are able to make a more reliable income from the creation system, while still being allowed to release their free content. And we, the players, are still able to enjoy the free content as we always have. Now, I just want to reiterate here, I'm not defending paid mods. I think it is an awful idea, but I also think people are making it out to be much worse than it is. This is not the end of free mods in Skyrim. This is not Bethesda coming for the free and open modding community. What it is an easy way for Bethesda to milk Skyrim another time, yes. If you have a problem with this though, just simply don't buy the mods. I know, that seems like a cheap excuse or a cheap way out, but realistically, the system isn't actually hurting modding, and definitely not going anywhere near to the extent that other people are making it out. It's not something I want in the game, however it's also not the end of free mods in Skyrim, and we all know Bethesda. It's not going anywhere. Thank you for watching. Please let me know your opinions down in the comments below. I'm curious to see if you guys agree with me, or if you truly do think this is the end of free modding in Skyrim. With that, goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video.